What's up, guys? I'm Vocal Strike, and I am here back again with Wakinetic.
You guys shocked to see me?
I'm pretty sure you used that one.
No, I said we were gonna have a shockingly good time.
And we're back again with Dragon Quest IX and the story so far, because we keep forgetting to do these the last few times. Mason's search for a way to Upover led him to a cave known as the Bull Hole to the west of Wormwood Creek, where he obtained the Wormlight Bow by defeating Gadrango. It seems the bow has some kind of connection to Wormwood Canyon.
Alright, so I'm gonna start my conversations off with my shorter topic. I have finally returned to Master Duel after a very long hiatus. I apologize for what I'm fitting to do to you all.
Oh no. More crime?
My boys got added to the game.
Which... Oh, the Mimicools?
No, Mimicools have been in there for a while.
Huh.
No, this is cards that actually just came out in the TCG 1 or 2 sets ago. Which means, since we no longer have a local scene, I didn't have a reason to get them in paper. But I have a reason to get them in Master Duel.
Oh boy, what is it?
They even have one of, not a secret pack, but the, like, selection packs or whatever it is in the front page right now. They also came in with support for a couple of other archetypes I like to play. So now, the GX has awakened. I have my Magnet Warriors. I have my Masked Heroes. I even have Macrocosmos support.
Oh no.
No, I've been playing Masked Heroes like all morning. I was playing Master Duel while I was at lunch with my grandparents with my Masked Hero deck. It's not perfect because I had to start a fresh account because I don't have my Xbox right now, and I'm not installing Master Duel on my Switch, so I've been playing on my phone. I've still got to get a couple more cards for the deck, so it's not perfect, but I think I'm doing pretty good.
Let us fire the
Considering
Wormlight Bow. Wormlight Bow Mason's cannon starts to glow. Suddenly a solemn voice booms through the air. Fire the light into the sky and let it lead you. Mason fits an arrow to the string of the Wormlight Bow, draws firmly, and lets it fly. I'm surprised we don't let you do this, seeing as how you're the archer.
Oh, the first time I played this game, I thought I had to be able to equip a bow to use the Wormlight Bow to progress.
Oh.
Because I was a little kid.
Whoa, would you look at that? I can make light of anything. And you can make anything out of light. What a pair! Oi! Uh-oh, looks like you've got company. Oh, it's them. Mason, isn't it? What are you doing here? We just saw a whopping great flash back in the village. What the? Well, I'll be stuffed. A bridge. Made of light? Wow.
Now don't make light of me.
Wow. Did you do this, Mason? The Wormyard will open with the light of the statue's sanctuary, and the way to Upover will appear at last. So this is what all that means. The old saying isn't just a load of yabber after all. It's truth. As they say, there's legends always have a hint of truth behind them.
Somebody been reading Percy Jackson again?
Well, you can. The only thing of Percy Jackson that I've ever seen was the Lightning Thief movie.
I'm disappointed in you.
I'm not much of a book reader. I can never really get in, like, be focused enough into it to actually read a full book. Audiobooks, on the other hand.
You're making it worse.
No, that's why I like audiobooks more.
Then listen to it.
That's what I do.
I know, I'm saying you need to listen to Percy Jackson.
Exactly. And now Mason's off to give that black dragon what for. You were lying about being attacked by that dragon, were you, Mason? Hell no. Why would I even lie about that? Looks like I owe you an apology. You've just been so caught up in hating outsiders after what happened all them years ago.
Oh. Yeah, I'll wait till this cutscene's over to talk about my other thing.
Sorry for being such an ungrateful Drongos. I hope you can forgive us. Anyway, if the legends are true, Upover should be on the other side of the bridge, and Greynarl with it. If you head over there, maybe you can meet up with him, and figure out what to do about that black dragon. Of course he can. If anything can meet up with the hero of the heavens, and beat the black dragon, it's Mason. I know you can do it.
You barely
I will
know
all
me,
be
kid.
cheering you on. Well, good luck then. Everyone in Wormwood will be saying prayers for you. Take care, Mason, and don't forget to come back and visit once you've defeated the Black Dragon.
Alright, is the cutscene finally over?
Hang on. When did it fall on your shoulders to give this Black Dragon's hide a hiding on top of everything else? Oh, well, it's as good a lead as any. I bet wherever that dragon's gone, there'll be some kind of clue about the figs. Come on, then.
Finally over?
Yeah.
Alright, so. Mason, you're not escaping that thing.
I wasn't trying to.
So, one of my favorite game creators of all time, who has made multiple of my favorite games of all time, has done something very interesting if you pay attention in their games. All of the worlds of their games are interconnected. And there is even an arguably canon timeline to look at to figure out when, like, what games place in the timeline. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
For example, we know the first game in the timeline that I can remember off the top of my head has to either be Dragon Fable or MechQuest. Most believe it to be Dragon Fable because one of the main characters you deal with in MechQuest is an older version of a character from Dragon Fable. You go from Dragon Fable into either Adventure Quest or MechQuest, but we know Dragon Fable has to happen before Adventure Quest because in Dragon Fable, you can visit the town of Battle On, the main town, in Adventure Quest before it has been built. So we know Dragon Fable happens first, even if Adventure Quest is their first released game. Then from Adventure Quest Worlds, which we also know has to take place after Dragon Fable because one of the villains is further down his timeline, and he is a villain from Dragon Fable. And the events of Dragon Fable have been shown to have occurred. We know MechQuest, odds are, has to happen either concurrently with Adventure Quest, or it has to happen before Adventure Quest because you can get armor from one of the monsters from Mech Quest in Adventure Quest in one of the areas that does a little crossover thing. Which is really funny to think about because Mech Quest is a game where you are piloting mechs to fight other mechs. And Adventure Quest is a turn-based RPG where you're using swords and magic to deal with, monsters. But they also have lightsabers, so, It's just always interesting to me when you have an interconnected world.
Isn't that most worlds, though?
Well, yes, but think about it like this. How many games can you think of where you have, I think it goes up to 5 or 6 now, games with maybe similar, but still relatively different gameplay styles, with different stories, different protagonists, main protagonists at least, that all technically form one interconnected world.
Hold up, are you new? Well, we found a Cyclops.
Particularly when that one interconnected world includes swords and sorcery, like high fantasy, literal mech suits, kaijus, ninjas, samurais. Like, one of the core groups you have to interact with, like core sections you have to interact with in playing through the story of Dragon Fable, is the Village of Wind and Osprey Cove. They are story required sections for book 1. Osprey Cove is where the pirate class is, where all these pirates and stuff are. The Village of Wind is ninjas. And at the same time you could be doing those quests, you could also be doing quests to become a paladin, a necromancer, a death knight, that I will find a way to make a D&D class one of these days. Right, it's got that, and that's just what's going on in Dragon Fable. Then you get to Adventure Quest, second game in the timeline, most people, or at least I believe. And then you have, in the same world of swords and sorcery and adventure and like magic, Kaiju Mecha Dinosaur, Mech Suit. I summon the Statue of Liberty to smite you.
Oh, I think you're new.
Luke. Then from there we
Terror
have Mech Quest. We have Mech Quest that you are building giant mechs to fight other giant mechs. Where a whole big part of your combat is actively customizing what gear you have equipped on your mechs to make sure you're set up properly. And what gear you have changes what attacks you have. But also in that same world, you can get jumped by a mecha dinosaur. Because it's set up at the start of you going to an academy to be a better mech fighter. One of the 3 houses of the academy is magic themed. In a world where I am piloting a mech suit, I can have a magic mech suit with a spell book that can cast magic missile. In that same world, I can get jumped by knockoff Jason, who is a possessed mech suit thing. Are you seeing what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you do not know what's coming. Adventure Quest World gets a bit tamer, but not that much tamer, because Adventure Quest Worlds has fan-submitted weapon designs and things of the like, so that's cool. But then you get to another game that I always forget they made, Adventure Quest 3D, because they have at least 3 MMOs they've made. That's also got its own story. You also have another MMO I forgot about for a minute there. I don't know if it's interconnected, but it seems to be taking place after a nuclear apocalypse, so it could just be far down the timeline. Epic Duel, which is a PvP-based MMO. There's a reason I didn't play that one much. And for a very long time, they had another MMO that they shut down eventually that was superhero themed called Hero Smash. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Arctic's Games might be one of the GOATs. I think I like Arctic's Games more as a game developer than I like From Software. I know, I'm talking crazy.
I think you're new.
Ooh.
Moosifers.
Oh, those things. Mason's just like, I don't care about this conversation. Stop talking to me about Arctic's Games.
I've never played any of them.
You should give them a try. They are very good. Most of them are, I think the only non-turn-based RPG are the MMOs. They are different in how they function comparatively, but because Dragon Fable is a turn-based RPG where your skills are really all class-focused and you're just trying to buff your character. Adventure Quest, your skills are more focused off of like your purchases and your gear. Mech Quest, you build your attack loadout by how you build your mech, but it's all still turn-based combat.
Might just zoom back into town and heal up at this point.
Fair. You getting cooked?
No, I just don't want to waste any of the MP. And it's not that too terribly far.
So what kind of anime have you been watching this season?
I haven't had the time. I'm still in the middle of Gundam.
Oh, that's fair. It's not like I can judge. I don't think I've actually watched any anime that's new this season. Everything I've watched has been older or like remakes. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I will say for Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't really touched Yu-Gi-Oh! In a bit, but I am very interested in the new tune support.
I will say this is not... I've actually been doing a bit of a personal challenge with Yu-Gi-Oh! Lately that's been fun. So I have Legacy of the Duelist on my Switch account.
Oh, the original or Link Evolution?
Link Evolution. The original isn't on Switch.
Oh. For some reason, I thought it was.
But one of the things with the game is, you know, you can buy card packs. So I've been doing a challenge where I'm only allowed to open one pack per season, like one set. And then once I have those packs, I try to use a new deck each season. That is not staying though, because that rule's not staying because I have my final deck after getting to Arc V. So I'm not changing my deck. I am still pulling a pack in Zexal because Zexal, or not Zexal, in Vrains, two of the best cards from my deck, instead of being left with the rest of the archetype, got put in a random pack in Vrains, and I'm still slightly salty about that. But so it's been an interesting little challenge because being limited to one set pack and only the cards I can get from either winning duels or that one set pack has made fixing these challenges a bit more difficult. I have been allowing myself to use banned and limited cards since, you know, the NPCs use banned and limited cards. But I haven't used the banned or limited cards since... Oh god, it has been since GX. At least not banned and limited by the game's ban list. You get what I mean? You know it's bad when you have 3 copies of Pot of Greed and you're like, nah, I don't need it. You know? No, I played through original Yu-Gi-Oh! With a cubic deck because I never tried the deck and I got a lot of cubic cards from whatever pack I was pulling.
How
I don't
is
even
the
remember
archetype?
which one it was. Huh?
How is the cubic archetype?
I'm gonna give it to you straight. You either open one of 2 cards or you quit the duel.
Oh, it's one of those.
You have to remember, and this is the most annoying part about playing a cubic deck, only 3 cubic monsters can be summoned without tributing another cubic monster. One of them you summon by revealing 3 cubics in your hand. It is a boss monster. It won me so many duels because it's a 3k attack beat stick that does 3,000 damage to both players at the end of the turn. All I have to do is do just enough damage for the cubic to kill them, and then I'm good. Or at least kill them before it kills me. But then you get to the other 2 summonable monsters. You have Vijarn, the Cubic Seed, which can't be destroyed by battle, and if somebody does hit it, but if your opponent attacks it, you can move it to your spell and trap zone and put a cubic counter on one of your opponent's monsters. That sets their attack to 0, and they can't attack, or... No, it's not sets their attack to 0. It's they can't attack or activate their effects. There are other cards to do cubic counters, but that's what the Cubic Seed is for. Now, that Cubic Seed is probably the singular most important card in the deck because the way the entire rest of the deck is set up, barring one monster, is you tribute a cubic on your field, summon this card, attack, and it will have something related to attacking, whether it be if this monster attacked and still on the field, or if this card destroys a monster by battle, that kind of thing. You can tribute it to bring back cubic seeds from the grave. And then add that monster's upgrade to your hand. So you sit there and loop your cubic seeds to get to bigger and better monsters, but you very rarely have more than one monster that can attack on board per turn, unless you have some kind of effects. If you just don't open a monster that can be put to the field without tribute summoning, you're screwed. And some of the effects payoffs are kind of lackluster. Are there some good effect payoffs? Yes. But like one of the best monsters to summon in the archetype, because it gets 3 attacks and has a relatively decent attack value, can't use one of the best support cards for the archetype, because you have to tribute 3 cubic monsters to summon it, and I'm sorry, you're not getting 3 cubic monsters on the field if there's not V-Jarms already in the graveyard. And one of the best support cards gives your monster a permanent buff by sending V-Jarms from deck to grave, which is still good setup because you want V-Jarm in your grave to bring back with other cubic effects. It's just... the deck did me good. I'm not gonna gripe there. I had a fun time playing it. But some stuff needs to be fixed. Because the only other monster that can be normal summoned without tributing a cubic monster just lets you send a cubic card from deck to graveyard and then can buff himself for however many cubics are in your graveyard if a monster has been sent from the deck to the graveyard this turn.
Cumulus Rex.
Funny enough, GX, home to some of my favorite decks, is the only season where I technically broke one of my own rules. Because you see, I did not play a deck that I got from packs in GX, but I felt justified because it is a deck prominently showed in the anime of GX. I just got the deck from the same packs I got my cubics. Because the Seto Kaiba pack for dual monsters has both cubics and the XYZ monsters, the Union monsters. So for the entirety of GX, I was playing an ABC and XYZ deck, which you could argue with me I was breaking my own rules. Counterpoint, it's a deck prominently used in the GX anime.
It is Chaz's cards.
Exactly. And I'm gonna be real. Since I've been playing this alongside another friend, the only deck I wanted to play that I saw in GX packs, he was already playing, so I didn't feel right playing the same deck as him. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been playing vampires. And then we got to 5Ds, and I tried so hard to build one of my favorite decks of all time because it was in the first pack from 5Ds.
Synchro Warriors?
Nope. Synchro Warriors are in the last pack from 5Ds. All of the protagonists are the last pack from their respective season. But no, FAs are in the first pack of 5Ds.
Oh, Formula Athletes.
So are Ultra Athletes. I did not wind up pulling enough to build Formula or Ultra Athletes. But I did wind up pulling a deck that I did not intend to build that absolutely slaughtered the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Also, just...
I'm starting to get the feeling that I walked past where I was supposed to go.
It's possible. I've been paying attention. But one of the other rules that I have been following is not using an extra deck summon type until I get to the season it was introduced. So, like, I could use Rituals and Fusions in season in DM, Duel Monsters, but I couldn't use Synchros or Xyz. The deck I was playing in 5Ds has a Fusion, has a Synchro, and has an Xyz I didn't use. And 9 times out of 10, I didn't even summon them. Because I was just killing my opponents that quickly. Because I was playing 6 Samurai. And turns out, that can be a pretty good beatdown deck when you're dealing with anime decks. Having targeted removal if my opponent has back row. Having a very funny but stupid lockdown I can hit people with. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about the 6 Samurai lockdown? Well, let me just tell you.
I think I did get hit by 6 Samurais, but I don't remember there being a lockdown.
Alright, so here's how it works. It's not a full lockdown. Your opponent does still get monsters. But if you summon Great Shogun Shien, which just requires 2 6 Samurais on the field, your opponent is only allowed to activate 1 spell or trap per turn. If you then proceed to Synchro Summon the level 5 legendary 6 Samurai Shien, he says, once per turn, negate a spell or trap.
Oh.
As long as both of those cards are on the field, and they aren't hitting some garbage like Super Poly, which since I'm dealing with anime decks from 5Ds, I'm not seeing Super Poly. They can't use spells or traps. And then, I will admit, there was... No, actually, 6 Samurai beat that. That's next season. Because in Zexal, I got to play one of my favorite deck archetypes, like design-wise, and I really like the effects. It's just kind of disappointing what actually wound up happening when I was playing the deck compared to how I was expecting the deck to go. Because it's from the Zexal anime. I was playing Chronomalies.
Oh.
And instead of hitting my opponent with, like, oh, sweet, I'm going to hit you with a bunch of, like, different Xyz monsters to screw you over. 8 games out of 10, it was Chronomaly beatdown. Because Pyramid Eye Tablet buffs all of your Chronomalies by 800 attack points. And not many people can do anything when they are staring down the barrel of multiple 4,200 attack monsters. And that was... The Chronomaly deck is probably... It's not my favorite, like, oh, I love playing this deck of this challenge so far, but it has been my favorite to obtain. Because the duel that I unlocked the packs that give me Chronomalies, or the duel right next to it. Because I've been using my previous decks until I got the pack and then going back through and defeating the duels that I had to use an old deck for, or a story deck for. Well, the duel right around there is the duel with Trey, who in the anime uses Chronomalies. which allowed me to, in spite of not pulling all of the chronomalies I needed, do like 5 duels against Trey while still playing my chronomaly deck to get the small amount of cards I was still missing. No, what's really funny is, because there was no rank up magics that I pulled out of the pack, while Chaos number 6 was in the deck, it never got summoned. What was also funny is, the main chronomaly number from the anime was not the GOAT of that extra deck. It was the slightly weaker chronomaly number that was pulling weight. Because there is 3 chronomaly numbers. Number 6, Atlantis, who I almost never summoned. But he has his purpose, because he can equip a number monster from your grave to buff himself. So he's a later game summon, and if your opponent's just walling you off, he can yeet that number attached to him to have your opponent's life points. Which does have a purpose in this deck. Because it sets up one of the other chronomalies. Then you get to the second strongest anime-wise chronomaly, Machu Mech. Machu Mech allows you to detach an Xyz material, target an opponent's monster that's attack is different than its original attack, deal damage to your opponents equal to that difference, and then you get to give your Machu Mech a buff equal to the damage dealt. And then the GOAT of this deck, Chronomaly Chateau Hyuk. Its effect is simple. Yeet 1 Xyz material, set one opponent's monster's attack to 0, and it can be activated during either player's turn. So even if they're going to remove Hyuk, with how the game is programmed, you can just activate Hyuk so you still get that attack lower before he is destroyed. This also means, like I did to one guy to just get him out of the game, if my opponent doesn't have as many life points as one of the monsters they control has attack points, I can yeet my own monster I can yeet an Xyz material from one monster, and if I have both on the field, just kill them.
I will admit I'm not too familiar with chronomalies. I've never used them.
Funny enough, I'd never used them until I was playing Legacy of the Duelist for my very first time, and was just kind of pulling packs randomly, and decided to give them a try because I recognized them from the anime, and had a really good time with them. It's weird because I don't think they have this name in the original anime that some of these cards first showed up in. But there are a couple of cards from 5Ds that in the actual card game are chronomalies. For example, Chronomaly Crystal Skull is Crystal Skull from the 5Ds duel where he had to use that old man's deck.
I'm pretty sure that they actually became their own separate cards away from Chronomaly at some point.
Funny enough, no, they got turned into chronomalies. They were originally not chronomalies. Some of them didn't get turned into chronomalies. Because, like, Ashoka Pillar just got made as Ahsoka Pillar. but instead, like Crystal Skull, for example, became Chronomaly Crystal Skull. They were retroactively given an archetype, which I think is even funnier. You know what I mean?
You can see me, can't you? Would you be so kind as to make my last wish come true so I can rest in peace at last? You did not have a side quest bubble over your head, so I didn't think they would have this. All I want is for someone to take the sultry dance I came up with and turn it into a craze by teaching it to lots of people. Come here, I'll teach you everything there is to know about my last and greatest work.
They finally released them as separate cards.
Now he can do a sultry dance. Yeah, like, I think Chronomaly Crystal Skull was based on the Crystal Skull from 5Ds, but it became its own separate card since the Chronomaly version did not keep its original effect.
Yeah, no, it's just... For a long time, we did not have those original versions, I guess is the way to put it. And then we got Chronomaly versions of, I think, at least 2 of them, if I'm right, but I could be misremembering.
I only remember Crystal Skull. I can't go out the towers no more myself, but now you know me best move. You can get out there and boogie up a storm for me.
I was misremembering because another Chronomaly has a similar name, but it is not the same thing. Because there is the Cabrera Stone is one of the cards from that deck, and there is a Chronomaly Cabrera Trebuchet. That was what got me confused. But I don't think there's any like reference to Ashoka Pillar, for example. But Chronomalies have a card named Chronomaly Pyramid Eye Tablet. It just gives all your Chronomalies 800 attack. Having 3 copies of that on the board is enough to turn even the weaker Chronomalies into absolute menaces. And the Chronomaly monster I was farming for when I was doing like the duels is Chronomaly Nebra-Disc. It is the highest attack, I believe, of the Chronomaly like base roster. Like your normal summonable monsters. Ooh. And when summoned, it just adds any Chronomaly monster from deck to hand. Or not monster, card from deck to hand.
There's a book called Super Duper Ultra Mega Stuff to Make. Lots of advanced equipment recipes require valuable accessories. Think carefully before throwing things into the pot. Found recipes for an Uber Falcon Blade, an Uber Miracle Sword, and an Uber Warhammer. As well as for an Empowered Shield, Sacrosanct Armor, and a Mega Magical Hat.
So I was right, but even more so than I thought. None of the Chronomaly main deck monsters exceed 1800 attack. And that is how much Nebra-Disc has. But it's still enough to be an absolute menace.
Mini Meadow. Anything worthwhile in here?
Not my dignity.
It's the grave of the proud and noble Kelly. Grave of the brave and gallant Ned. In memory of the brave and gallant young warrior Ned, whose life was cut tragically short in the struggle with the Gittish Empire. He was struck down by a lieutenant of the Empire, but dealt a fatal blow of his own in falling. May he rest in peace.
Rip Ned.
In memory of the proud and noble Kelly, who fought the Gittish Empire with more fire and spirit than any other. Having lost his family in the war with the Empire, he burned with an unmatchable hatred, and fought and died for his revenge.
Crime.
Acquired a paring knife. Dragon Digest. How many dragon scales you have will tip the scales in your favor when making these items. Get busy beating up dragony beasts. Found recipes for a dragon slayer, a dragon tail whip, and a Zenlon rod. Also recipes for a dragon shield, dragon mail, and a dragon dress. Not to mention recipes for a Zenlon robe, a dragon top, and dragon trousers. Where our loots are there. Loot comes first before people.
Wow.
Oh, some sort of distillery then. What you making? This here's where we make Drunken Dragon. The dinkamest drink in all the world. Every year we give the first present to Grey Gnarl, cause it's the tastiest. Then we have a little party to celebrate. So they're all alcoholics?
Probably.
G'day, I'm the mayor of Upover. What brings you all the way up here to the mountains? What? You come to ask Greynar to help chase down a great big black dragon? Don't be daft! The only big black dragon was barbarous, and Greynar saw to him 300 years back. Still, I don't reckon you come all this way just to tell fibs, so I guess there must be something in it. Okay, why don't you head up the Magmaroo and see old Greynar. Let's see what he has to say about it. I reckon you're on a wild goose chase, but we can hardly let you trek all the way up here and then turn you away, eh? Greynar lives all the way up the summit of Magmaroo. There's a cave just outside me house here that leads all the way up there. You'll have to go through there. So you're off to see old Greynar, are ya? Well, I ain't seen him for yonks, so say good day from me and tell him I'm doing fine since he left me in charge down here, okay? What am I thinking? I can't have yous doing me dirty work for me just 'cause I'm getting on a bit. I'll check up there myself. Sure, old lady. I've been thinking, this Grey Gnarl we're supposed to go and meet. He was around 300 years ago, right? So how come he's still alive? You don't think he's some kind of zombie, do you? Ugh, I hate rotten, stinking zombies. It says there was a cave just outside his house, which I'm assuming is this cave. So Snip said you could march on up to Magmaroo and see old Grey Gnarl, did he? Well, mind how you go, eh? This here cave up to the top's chocker with monsters and lava and crikey knows what else.